Yes, we are live. We are live. This is cool. Technology. Welcome, welcome. Perfect.
Hi, cutie pie.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I'm super happy to see you. You have no idea.
I'm so excited we got to do this. It worked out. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I'm just gonna let people come in now because
Yeah.
I can't wait for them to hear what you have to
Yay.
say. I'm
So
looking forward
pumped.
to it.
So pumped. I love talking about this kind of stuff, so I'm excited.
I'm happy because oftentimes these are the conversations we don't have. We don't talk about money with our friends. We don't talk
Yep.
about these taboo topics.
Yep.
So I know you're not like normal people. You talk about these things, but
Yeah.
today we're gonna inform everybody what type of conversation we like to have.
Hi, fancy peasant. I love you and I love your food. I see you there. Um, yeah, in the meantime, while we wait, let us know where you're coming in from in the comments. Where are
I'm
you
coming in
located?
from I'm coming in from Monaco. So if
Nice.
anybody's further away than me, let me know.
And I am in Puerto Rico. Yeah, I'm so pumped. And as a Scorpio, yes, I do like talking about more taboo topics and I'm one that loves to ask people about yeah, like how much did you get paid for that so we can negotiate and ask for our worth. So there's so many things that we can dive into today.
Definitely, especially as a creator, I think you have a lot to say on that. We have somebody joining us from the UK. Nice.
Awesome.
So, nighttime here in Europe.
Beautiful.
Jamizat, welcome.
Welcome. And if you guys hear, music in the background, then that's just beautiful Puerto Rico. It's like Christmas music and regular music from October-ish or even end of September.
We have people from Ghana joining us. Amazing. Puerto Rico. I like it. Having some
Ghana, Puerto
representation.
Rico. I see some people from New York that I know personally. I love it.
Okay. Just a few seconds more and we will begin. Hey. Okay, I like seeing people joining us.
So good.
Let me see. Tuck, tuck.
I'll show people my baby belly in the meantime.
Wow, amore.
She's growing.
Amazing. And in this stressful time, I totally like admire you for this because it's already been hard enough for me and I'm one, imagine with two.
I know, and I've been like just like at home and just, being safe, but,
Yeah.
doing what I can to keep busy. I stay entertained with my business.
And that's what we're here to talk about. And we have a magic number. I like 11. It's one of my favorite numbers. It's 11 p.m. here. We got 11 people on, so I think we can get this ball rolling.
Yeah.
Um, so today we're going to talk about a topic that I think is incredible, and I don't think we could have picked a better person for this because Christine, you're mistress of transformation, mindset, and all things powerful, I think. And you shared with me a very powerful message, and you talked to me a little bit about your perspective on finance, which is not conventional, traditional, and us at Athena, we're not conventional or traditional either. We precisely decided to help women in finance because the traditional system doesn't.
Yeah.
Because the traditional system tells us that life is a certain way and it's not. So tell me a little bit about that way, that mindset that you have.
Yeah. So for me, just to give everyone a little bit of context, hi, Yadi. My name is Christy Gutierrez, and I grew up in Brooklyn, in Bushwick, and then in Queens, in New York. My background is Puerto Rican. And I grew up in a family of hard workers, but that didn't necessarily make tons of money. They worked really hard, but they had to sacrifice a lot in order to give me the life that I needed. And so I think that every generation brings their own messages and gifts, right? So I'm speaking from my own personal perspective as a 35-year-old woman, and as someone that my mother and father had a different experience with money that I deeply value and appreciate. And I wouldn't be able to be where I am had it not been for my grandparents and my parents' hard work. Now, with that said, my perspective on money is very different than what I grew up with in a Latino household with parents that had to work really hard and that grew up, you know, even more poor and with less money than I did, right? So I think that we learn different lessons from different generations, but we need to stay true to where we are currently in our own lives. So with that disclaimer, my mindset is that I believe in an abundance mindset. And what that means for me is that not everyone has the same privilege. We already know that, right? We already know that not everyone is given the same stack of cards. And so some of us have to hustle more in order to get to certain places that are easier for others to get to, let's say, right? But I do believe that, especially if we were watching this on the internet right now, that you have enough privilege to be able to access information, which is what Athena is doing here, which is what I do as well. And when you're able to access information and resources, you're able to change your perspective on money. And as we know, as a licensed therapist, as part of my background, we know that what our subconscious beliefs are run us and program us to what we believe we can attract, to what we believe we can have. And it also puts blocks to what we believe we can't have. And so with money in specific, it's a very taboo topic, like we first talked about. And when we have taboo topics, we oftentimes get nervous about addressing them. And we get nervous about being able to say, okay, let me look at this kind of scary dragon in the room.
Confronting it.
Confronting it, exactly. And so one of the biggest steps for me with my money was realizing that I wanted to focus on manifesting more, making money with my own business. And so although I'm clinically trained as a therapist, I have my master's, I did all that traditional stuff, I always had this very untraditional way about being, or unorthodox way about being. And most people that are entrepreneurs can kind of relate to that feeling of, I don't fit in a box and I want to make money and make an impact, but I want to do it my own way. And so I didn't have anyone to invest in my business. I didn't have a family that had enough money that could just splurge and give me money. So I had to hustle. And so I worked jobs that gave me cash, money, and that allowed me to be able to invest into my own business. I say that my job was my own investor. That was my first investor, was my own job, right? When I nannied, I created a shot girl company of people selling, like, you know, shots of liquor. I don't even drink now, but, you know, just to give you a perspective, I was always doing random odds and ends jobs to make cash, to put it into my business, knowing that people might judge me, knowing that in the moment, you know, oh, she has her master's, what is she doing still nannying? And in my heart, I had to have faith that my vision of my business was far greater than my fear, right? So my faith in my vision of my business was far greater than my fear. And so I continuously started working that mindset. I started writing down affirmations. I started writing down things like, you know, I'm a successful entrepreneur. I give myself permission to have what I want. I give myself permission to manifest this dream job, and I'm willing to put in the work that it takes to get there. And so I put in the work, and little by little, I started setting these goals, right? I want to make $1,000 for my business. I want to make 4,000. I want to make 10,000. I want to make 15,000. I want to make 20,000. I want to make 35,000 a month. And so I started setting these goals, and the same principles that I used when I was making $1,000 a month are the same principles that I use now that I have a six-figure business, right? A multi-six-figure business. And so, yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about those principles.
Well, the first one is having deep faith in something that you feel passionate about. And for me, I call this like the roots of your business or your idea. And you have to have strong enough foundation that no matter what people say, that you're not going to get rocked, right? You're not going to get swayed by people's opinions, especially growing up in a Latino household with very opinionated Puerto Rican family members. Like, the traditional way was seen as something secure. And again, understanding their mindset, at the time it was more secure. And so we live in a different economy now. We live in a more freelancer economy, right? So I had to educate them and let them know things are different now. This is the way things are. Social Security probably won't even exist by the time, we need it. And there's different ways to go about making money. At first, people were skeptical. So my first tip was to have faith in my own purpose. Because I
Okay.
cared so much about what I was doing, it gave me the resilience to be able to walk through those times where I wasn't making money for my business yet. And so I always encourage people, have something where you're making money, so you're not freaking out, so you're not, flustered about needing to get clients or needing to pressure things that aren't meant to be. Have money that comes from working odds and ends jobs, that comes from a side hustle that you feel gives you enough spaciousness to work on your business. The second thing was writing out those affirmations and envisioning what it was that I wanted to have. Right behind me is like a vision board. And I do vision boards all the time. You could do it on Pinterest. You could do it on a board. You could do both, like me. And you can even do something as simple as writing it out. But the key is that you want to access your mind, your subconscious, and have visuals and words that empower you to align with the future that you want to have. And in order to do that, you need to feel it in your body in the present moment. So a lot of that mindset work was repeating to myself, I am successful, I'm successful, visualizing it, imagining it, seeing people, imagining people like using my services and getting
Yeah.
paid for it.
And I have a question. In that process of like unlearning and relearning and in infusing yourself with these new beliefs, what beliefs about money did you have to unlearn?
Oh, that's such a good question. Some of them were money doesn't grow on trees. I remember my mom saying that, and then I thought about it. I was like, actually, money does fucking grow on trees. It literally is paper, and paper comes from trees. So it's these slogans and mottos that we grow up with, and they're brainwashing. It's brainwashing. It's a way of telling your brain, no, it doesn't grow on trees. And while obviously I'm connected to a very grounded reality, and I know that it's not as easy for everyone to get access to that, coming from this, US perspective of having access to resources at varying levels, that there's still much more power in being able to say, actually, how can I make money, right? And you'll see this with a lot of immigrant stories where they'll come to, another country and work so hard and save money and and really appreciate the value of, actually, it is possible to make money. So one of them was money doesn't grow on trees. Another one was you don't get to have a lot of money doing what you love. Like, you get to work hard, you get to be good, but you don't get to be rich, right? Like, richness wasn't a concept that I grew up with. I grew up in Bushwick, in Brooklyn, and then in Queens. And people were like poor to middle class. And my family worked really hard so I can go to a good school and get education, but that wasn't a concept that I had around me. And so I had to allow myself to believe that I was worthy of making money. I was worthy of making bigger money than what my parents made.
And
And
so
yeah.
a question, because obviously in order to make this money you couldn't behave like your parents did, you couldn't follow that same track. And that's kind of also what Athena we like to emphasize is like rethinking not only your relationship with money but also learning new things, because if you want to get there then that means you have to become the type of person that would know what to do with money, that would know how to invest. So what sort of investment, because you're really big on investing on yourself, did you do on yourself, your own education, in order to learn how to manage money?
Yeah, so for me, I talk about this a lot, again, with depending on what season of life you're in and where you are, right? So for me, my season has been make money from your business, right? That's been my season. Invest in personal growth, invest in business growth and educational programs that allow me to change my mindset, because it's all connected there, and that give me grounded tools to have a successful business, right? So that's where all of my investment came in. And I just put a post of one of my girlfriends um, that says something along those lines, right? Like, if you are not willing to, or what's the biggest thing you can invest into? It's yourself. And so
Yourself.
for me, that's where I started. I started investing with myself, and my mantra that I would say as I paid and invested money was, every time I invest, I make more money. Every time I invest, I make more money. Every time I invest, I make more money. And it's always been the case, and it's always been true. And so mentoring, I offer business coaching to people that want to start their own spiritual business, right? I recommend people to other resources, and that for me allowed me to learn ways of being that had me learn how to do marketing, had me learn how to, grow my business, had me learn how to create sales in an authentic, soul-aligned way. And then now I'm in a new season of investing. I have a good friend of mine, Linda Luce, who is this Latina woman who's basically breaking down the ways that most white men have known how to make money in the stock market and make fast money. And again, that belief of making fast money was not as common in most Latino households. And so she's really unpacking those stories, those negative stories, right? And teaching Latina women how to do that. So I invested into her course to learn how to do that.
I definitely need to link up with her then, because she's
Oh, yeah.
aligned with what we're doing. I mean,
I was just thinking that.
yeah, that's precisely what we're aiming to do with the investment course. I mean, Anastasia, the CEO of Athena, she worked 15 years in financial industries and then
Amazing.
realized that the system was mostly for men.
Yeah.
And that the people that were building this wealth were mostly men. And
Yeah.
then she decided to say, well, let's address women. Why hasn't the system adapted to women? So I guess we're the younger generation. We're luckier because we
Yeah.
have people like you, we have people like your friend, we have people like Anastasia that break it down for us. And
Absolutely.
and so you recently started investing. You're at that stage in your life now.
Yeah. So right now, the season that I'm in is that I've already hit multiple six figures in my business, right? I'm super grateful for that. And my cue, or my sign in my body that it's time to go to the next level, is when it feels like, okay, this feels small now. I've outgrown it. I'm ready for more, right? And so my purpose is intact. I already know what I love doing. I love empowering women. I love to give inspirational content. I like helping people start their own businesses. And so now that that's clear, I can focus on how I can impact more lives. And the consequence of impacting more lives is making more money, right? And so my new goal is hit my million, right? My mantra is, I am a Latina millionaire. And the second thing is creating fast money, meaning I already have different streams of income, but putting it into the stock market and playing. I like the word playing with money. It's fun. Like, I already started and I made back, money. It's free money and it's easy and it's fun. And so that's what I'm excited to learn. I think the next season after that will be starting to stack cash to have on the side, and then continue to make investments. We already have a home that we bought, but maybe other more investment properties.
Okay. And so out of curiosity, do you do any sort of budgeting in your, like, to make sure that the money that you are spending, you're like spending in the direction that you want, or do you just
No, I don't. So this is like a very unorthodox way, and it might be something I change. Everything I say is depending on the season I'm in, right? So for example, I mentioned to you kind of when we were chatting about this, like, I'm not scared of debt. Debt is not a naughty or bad word for me. For me, debt is an investment when done properly. When I perceive debt as smart money choices or investments that I had to use because that was the money available to me. And therefore, I'm grateful for my credit cards. I'm grateful to be able to use this money. And I know that that money will come back and I'll have an abundance of money to pay it off easily, right? So that's my mindset when it comes to debt. It's not naughty, bad, or scary. It's just a tool to use to be able to pay off when you're ready. And when you have a shit ton of money afterwards, it's easy. You just pay it all off. Now, is that a more riskier attitude? Probably. Someone that's more risk adverse and doesn't want that might feel insecure about that kind of process, and it might bring up so much anxiety for them. Or you might already have a family and that might be too risky. So you can listen to where you're at in the season of your life and do what works for you. This is just what's worked for me. Um, and what was the last part of what you asked? I forgot.
Um, no,
I think I
I think,
answered it.
yeah, I think you answered. And so, because again, at Athena, we're very much about education and about you taking that first step to take charge of your finances, to take charge of your life. So I want to know if, with the information that you have now, what would you have done differently? Is there any advice you would give to your younger self that maybe didn't have that knowledge?
Probably buy stocks, earlier and learn information. The other thing I would say is invest in personal development and business development earlier on. Kids are making so much money online right now because the generation allows for that kind of knowledge. That would be the only thing I would say. I've learned so much in every single step, and it's been a really beautiful process because I didn't rush to make all the money I needed to make. I did it at a time where I was capable to be responsible enough to use the money in ways that I want. And I'm sure that, like, this in this next season, I'm really excited to again hit that next number of my million, and also to be able to play with stocks. So it's it's the only thing I would say. If you're young and watching this, like, this is a great start. Invest in courses, invest in personal education, financial education. You're gonna get so much return back on that investment.
Exactly. And I totally agree with you. And I think this is like a good kind of point to wrap up too, because I promise people I try to keep it like 25 minutes, because if not, we can keep talking forever. And for those of you who are joining us right now and would like to learn about investment or budgeting or growing wealth, you can click our link in bio, and there will be a code. I'm going to put it right now after this call, because I think, Christine, you gave us enough information that everybody that joined us here, the 17 people here right now, you guys deserve a discount to our course to join right now. Because this is something that if Christine had done before, I'm pretty sure she would be in another place. And I myself, I'm starting to do it now. And hopefully, I'll be in your position one day, Christine. So click on the link in bio and
You will.
write code Christine and check out, and you guys are gonna get a 25% discount for starting investments. So Christine, I don't know, give us something else. I feel like
Yeah.
when you speak, it's music. Give us
Well,
something
I
else that
I want to just quickly say to the person asking me about the advice with the graduating with masters in counseling. For me, it was starting my own business. I started my own private practice briefly, but then I decided I didn't want to work with the limiting kind of cap of just a licensed therapist. So I just decided to call myself coach, although I am licensed in the state of New York as a therapist. Um, and then any other quick questions that I can answer? What was the name of the Patri will put the name of the course that she's promoting, and then the name of the woman that I also mentioned that we'll try to get her to come on too. Her name is Linda Luce. And of course, you can follow along my work, and you can see all the different offerings that I have there too. So one thing that I will say is, more than anything, I'll leave everyone with this, right? I deeply believe that when you do what you love, and it lights you up and it makes you passionately feel alive, um, that is the thing that you want to continue to follow. And when you do that, know that you deserve to be abundant in whatever it is you do. Know that you deserve, that you're worthy of making money, that money is a good thing. And that right now, more than ever, we need people that are good people that are going to do good things with money. And so if you ever feel like insecure, oh no, I can't make money, think of it like this. Wouldn't you rather have good people making money to make good choices and decisions in the world? I know I would. And so remind yourself of that so that you can feel even more excited about making money, investing money, and growing with your money.
I love that, because one thing that I feel us women in particular too, we almost feel guilty in saying I want to be rich.
Yeah,
It's like, no, 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 I'm fine, I'm comfortable, I love my life. When I think that it's empowering to say, and you've said it before, I am a
I am a
Latina
Latina
millionaire.
millionaire. Yep,
And because, especially for us who come from Puerto Rico, that gives you the power to, build a school if you want to donate to charity,
that's right.
to support causes you believe in, to sponsor a student, to
Yeah.
sponsor another business. So I think that having that abundance mindset and doing what you love, I think that's a really, really beautiful point to end on. So thank you so
Yes.
much, Christine, for joining us. And for those of you 20 people who are still here, again, go to the link in bio, check out our investment course, and use code Christine in checkout for a 25% discount. Thank you, Christine, for
You're
your
so
time today.
welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. And blah.